Welcome back to my channel. Does acceptance equal access? Think about that. Just because you accept a person in your circle, does that mean they have access to all your information, all your deepest thoughts and ideas? And I don't think so. And the reason why I say that is because we all have a table that we sit in, proverbial table, where we invite people within our lives to come and sit. And we designate, whether or not intentionally or unintentionally, roles to them. I have friends that are my walking buddies. They are the ones who I read books with. They are the ones I do Bible study with. They are the ones who I talk about a particular movie or my traveling buddy. Not all of the friends hold the same position. All of them are accepted to sit at my table, but not all of them have the same level of access to all facets of my life. And if you're new here, I am Kerresha. I am the person who talks to mothers about integrated life. And this is the integrated life with Kerresha. And I welcome you to join in the conversation. Click the description and you will be able to see a free workbook that talks about the village. And the village are those people who help you get the job done. They are not the same people all the time that are at your proverbial table. Your core friends, your ride or die people. They are the people who you know can do the drop off at the school or the pickup from the soccer game or football game. They are the people who help you to do life, to get the family structure things done. They could encompass your poor friends. They don't have to be. And this video, I want to focus on the poor friends, those people who remind you that you are not just a mother. You're not just a wife. You are that girl who likes the lollygag. You are that girl who likes to go eat ice cream in the middle of the night. They remind you of yourself outside of the roles that you occupy. And I would like to walk you through why I say just because a person has access and they sit at your table doesn't necessarily mean that everything is divulged. Not every person at my table knows the intricate details of my marriage. And to say that because we are friends, we need to know everything is unwise. Because what a person is able to access from you or what you share with them should come from a sense of you know that person's capacity to hold the information and you know where the limitations are. So I would want you to assess to see, do I know who my friends are? And do I know what seat at my table they occupy? And you have to determine, because we all determine who sits at the table. So you determine why you place them there and what position they look. And can a person move from one section to the next? I believe so. It happens in my life. I have a friend who started off where we just had, regular little conversation here and there, maybe once every 3 months. And as time went on, her role changed. She showed up. She checked on me. Check on your strong friends. She checked on me. She has become one of those people who I talk about business, about podcasts, about YouTube, about writing books. She is that person. And it didn't start off that way. So in regards to who is at your table, recognize it, that people shift. And some people might have been your closest confidant, your most trusted friend, and the season changed. And therefore, to hold to the standard that you once had would be unwise because you recognize the need for the shift. And therefore, to not pivot would leave you at a disadvantage because you now have a person in a position that no longer suits the role. And because out of obligation or fear that you're going to upset them, you keep them in that role. But you know for yourself that season has passed. So in the comments, you share with me, tell me, have you noticed that a relationship has changed? And it's not that you love them any less, it's that they might have done something, they might have said something, they might have behaved in a manner that indicate to you that, okay, that changing of the guards need to happen. We need to reposition. And it is not that the seat at the table is diminished or removed completely. It's just the reposition. When I was in youth camp one year, a pastor said that we determine who sits at the table. And we also determine who does not. And we shouldn't allow, out of obligation, that we entrust privilege information to people because we grew up together. We tell them things. And that is not just as a woman, that is as a business person, as a mother. There are certain things you tell certain people because you recognize their integrity, that they're not going to use the information against you if you share it in confidence. They're not going to weaponize it because all those things change the positioning of a person. And you may say, what would determine the position of a person? I use two things to determine where a person sits. Is do they show up authentically themselves? And do they do that consistently? They are themselves all the time, regardless of what situation they're in. And when I say I have had friends where time collapsed into nothingness because they were always themselves. They showed up consistently. And it didn't take 5-10 years for me to know them, for them to be in a position where I can say, okay, I trust them with certain information because they demonstrated that. So they show up as themselves all the time. They are authentic and they are consistent. I would say you judge for your own self. How do you show up for people? What are your core people, your core dwellers, your core friends? And what position do they hold in your life? And when you can answer that for yourself, you can see that, okay, I have my village, the people who assist me with the day-to-day tasks and keep my household afloat. That may be hired help or the family, the sister, the brother. And then you have your circle of friends. And within your circle of friends, at what point do you recognize what seed you've given them? And do you recognize when you need to reposition them? So please like, share, and subscribe. Click the link in the description for the free workbook and discover who's in your village and just write down who are my circle of friends and what position they hold. I want you to comment in the comment section and tell me how you recognize where you have been repositioned from a table, or have you been the one to reposition the person, and how did that cause the relationship to change? Did it change? So come back again and join me. And like I said, I am Kerresha, and this is the Integrated Life with